Good evening. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 7:02. We'd like to welcome our new village clerk. Welcome to the village. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
My apologies, I have a lot of this stuff. Can you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Could you introduce her?
Yes. I'm sorry, Roseanne Pryor. Welcome.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Would you go ahead and call the meeting to order? Roll call, please.
Mayor Truckman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Roxana Ross. I don't think I'm.
Yes, here.
Commissioner Harvey Field,
Here.
Commissioner Jenny Johnson Sadell,
Here.
Commissioner William Julie.
Here.
Now Vice Mayor. Correct? Which we'll announce in just a moment. Can we all stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any, Madam Clerk, are there any additions, deletions, withdrawals from the agenda? Commissioners, are there any additions, withdrawals, or deletions from the agenda?
Yes, I do have a couple of items. When we last met early in March, we set forth a path to solicit a new village attorney, and I think that we need to revisit that and have further conversation on it. Said that we would at this meeting, but it didn't make it on the agenda.
Okay. Since it's under unfold business, can we put it under 12A? Yes. Commissioner Ross, anything else?
I also, we have been talking off and on about having a hurricane preparedness meeting, and so I'd like to, maybe it could be in the manager's report to include that topic.
Manager, did you have that in your report plan?
That is in my report, yes.
Thank you.
And if I could make a suggestion, to bring the police update earlier in the agenda before public comment.
I don't see any need to do that.
Okay, I anticipated more people being here to want to listen to the police report. That's why I made that note to myself.
Any other? No? Okay. We're going to go ahead to that presentation by the Employee Benefit Solution. Employee Health Insurance, Manager Manis, would you like to make the introductions?
Absolutely. This is Graham Pentland, and he's with EES. They are our consultant in reviewing all of the different plans available to us and making their recommendation tonight as to where we should go with our employee health insurance.
All right, good evening.
Graham, would you please?
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Graham Pendleton, EDS Advisors, Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for your time. I just want to give you a brief synopsis on the renewal process that we went through, where we're at, what the recommendations are, and then answer any questions that you might have. AvMed is our health plan. We did receive an increase from them of 7.79%. We have Solstice for dental and for vision. On both those plans, there was no change in premium. We obtained a rate pass. And then our life insurance from Unum, again, there was no change there. We obtained a rate pass. We went out to market, as we do each year for the village. We request bids from the major carriers in the marketplace, review them with Christian, get feedback from the staff. And what they're really asking for this year, the recommendation is that we can renew as is. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we've had 2 different health plans. If we change again, we'll have 3 health plans in 3 years. And we're coming in below trend, we're coming in below budget, and we budgeted 22.6 for an increase in health care, and it's actually 14.1. That's almost 38% below budget. So what they're really saying is that we have some consistency of our healthcare, changing doctors, changing formularies 3 years in a row. I think it actually be 4 times in 6 years, if I recall correctly. So we're below trend, we're below budget, and they'd just like to see some consistency in their employee benefits. With that, I'll answer any questions that you folks might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from Commissioners?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to announce that we have a Vice Mayor change from Commissioner Ross to Commissioner Tudor. Welcome, Vice Mayor Tudor. I'm going to open up the floor to public comment. Are there any public comments? And if you could, we have a brand new village clerk. If you'd be so kind to slowly say your name and your address. Thank you.
Bob Anderson, 11th Place, 119th Street. On the sanitation fees, the public has not seen any kind of a breakdown for the administrative costs and how they were arrived at, and also the administrative costs and how it was arrived for the police to be involved in this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeannie Anderson, 11th Place and 119th Street. My question has to do with Brightline. Who from the village is going to be kind of acting as a liaison or attending meetings and following through with them? Because the way things are going now, I realize they're just in the test phase, and that's the excuse they're giving for why they are not honoring the quiet zone. But not only are they not honoring the quiet zone, you can hear those train horns start significantly south of me, and they continue as they pass beside the village, and they continue as they go north. They are not just being sounded at the crossings. And it's starting to become a quality of life issue already and early in the test phase. I would pity someone who might have their house up for sale east of 10th Avenue. And hopefully, as part of the test phase, they're really not going 50 miles an hour yet. I can tell you, we sat crossing at 125th today, and there's no possible way that train is going 50 miles an hour, which is going to exacerbate the traffic issue. So I'm hoping we have someone that is attending their meetings, that is reaching out, that is following through, and that we as a community are going to start getting more information, because people are questioning it, you're nowhere on social media. A blessing and a curse, as I call social media. We really need facts.
Thank you.
Chuck Ross, 11166 Griffin Boulevard. I want to follow up on what Bob was talking about. The material that was presented on the agenda for the sanitation fee, frankly, was horrendous. I spoke to the finance director, and it sounds like he's doing a bang-up job. I just think the material that got posted was erroneous. I understand that, I think this afternoon they reposted it, but the problem is that anybody out there who's trying to understand the calculation, and not all the details are there from what I see online, of the overhead and the new assessment that we're adding for the police force, they have no idea what we're going to be talking about tonight, because late this afternoon apparently, when it was updated, they're not going to look in for that before the meeting. And what was posted over the weekend, you couldn't make heads or tails out of it. I'm sorry. On another matter, I want to commend our chief and his officers. You may have noticed I haven't issued that many crime watch reports lately, and there's a reason for that. It's because there hasn't been a lot to report. So that's the good news. And the chief, I understand, has increased his reserves now from 5 to 13. Hopefully not reviewing anything we did. And we're at full strength on the full-time officers. And I've also noticed that there has been an increase in patrols and police presence on the streets. So I want to give a big shout out to our police department.
Could you just step back a little bit just for a second? Thank you.
Usually it sounds like working. How's it better? Yeah. Okay. Lastly, I don't know how Fred did it, but somehow Fred managed to fill 2 boards without by just applying for them. So, job well done, Fred. Thank you.
Any further public comments? Okay, public comments are closed. Information updates, financials from GMS. Village Band, do you want to do the introductions again?
Absolutely. Paul Winklejohn from GMS is here, and he's going to take us through the monthly financials. We are going to be looking at where we are in budget this year. Right now, we're in pretty good shape, and in our discussions, we don't need to move money between departments at this time, and so we don't need to go through and do the two ordinances as we would for a regular budget adjustment. So that's just the preamble, and I'll turn it over to Paul.
Thank you.
How's that?
And if you could just say your name also for the most part.
Yes, thank you, Paul Winklejohn, Finance Director. Christian stole all the fun of the report. We looked closely at revenues and expenses, and there were one or two anomalies, but they were explained through really clear actions that would not necessitate any adjustments or balances. Later on the agenda, we're going to talk about the solid waste fee, and while I explain that, I think I'll be able to highlight a couple of financial sort of diagnostics, if you will, as we go into the budget season, but it fits more in that conversation.
Are there any questions for the Finance Director? Commissioner Rose?
I'm not sure that they're necessarily for the Finance Director, but they do have to do with finance. And as I mentioned earlier, before the meeting started, reviewing the financials in the general fund, we had a miscellaneous revenue of $45,586. So I was just curious what was behind that, and I mentioned it to you and to the manager, so hopefully someone can come back with an answer. More so to know whether it's going to be a competitive situation, which would be wonderful, or if not, just
We're going to find
regular
this miscellaneous
things.
person.
Yeah.
No, frankly, I looked at that with you a few minutes ago. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we can certainly get an answer back to the commission.
Commissioner Ross, it is likely, I would say probably code and citation fees, but I don't know for sure, so.
Okay. But code, finance, fines for code compliance are different line items, so,
Code meaning when the account is coded into the system, it posted it there in the financials. And I did talk to Sharon about this, now that you said it that way, I remember. What happened was she has built 2 years of your financials by herself, and the codes changed. So she automatically booked the revenue in the old code. It was a mistake, had an excellent muscle memory, and she'll reverse it. So I actually reassigned it to the correct line.
okay. And some of my questions aren't necessarily, as I say,
Understood.
about the numbers of the finance, but it cues me, raises questions just on general operations. For example, under the police department, we have repairs and maintenance. I'm assuming that's the vehicles because we don't repair and maintenance anything else.
That is.
And so we are at 36,669 when we budgeted 47. It seems like we're way ahead in that expense item.
We are.
I wonder if some of that has to do with insurance claims that will offset some of the expenditures.
It does. That is front-loaded. All of our vehicles village-wide have been neglected over the past few years. And so this year, we are front-loaded on that. We've brought everything up to speed. Officer Valiente has taken over our fleet as far as getting maintenance and repairs. Additionally, there's been some accidents that officers have had, and we do have, I think, at least $5,000 coming back through insurance to offset that.
Okay. Many of our vehicles are fairly new, so I wouldn't expect very much repairs, but there's always the maintenance, oil change and tires and all that stuff, yeah.
Absolutely.
On the other side of, for under-expending things that have been budgeted, in the Parks and Recreation Department, we have a repairs and maintenance where we budgeted 23, and we've only spent $1,900 of that. And likewise, for infrastructure improvements, we budgeted 30, and we've only spent $3,500. Some of those projects we had planned to do this year, and we're already 6 months into it, so are we working on taking steps to implement some of those things?
We absolutely are. One of the things that we want to do with the rec center is repaint it and fix it up some, as well as we want to put down pavers on the exterior of the rec center and some of the dirt lots. And so from that perspective, we are planning to do that. And as you know, Irma set us behind on a lot of our plans this year, but those are still on our radar to get done this year.
May I make another comment that you're not speaking about, that you saved several $1,000s on the repairs to the sunshade?
Oh, yes.
That's part of that. Thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, and I imagine some of those expenditures are going to need an RFP if they're over $10,000, so.
They will, yes. I mean, we're running out of time.
Right, we're going downhill on this budget, so we want to, use as much of it as we had set out to use.
Absolutely.
Likewise, and this is in the road fund, where those monies can't be used for anything else except for roads, but we had budgeted 16,402, and we've only spent 2890. God knows our roads need repair, so I'd like to see us step up and do some of that work with the money that we set aside.
Okay. One of the things, we certainly need to utilize that money as well. One of the things I'm working on currently is with Grubbs to get them to repair the damage, some of the damage they did during the hurricane. And so I'd much rather spend Grubbs' money than the villages if possible, but we do have the money there and we are aware of it.
Okay. And the final item I had was, which I've already mentioned to Paul, it appeared that we were 67,000 in the hole, 67,770 in the hole when we started the budget and sanitation, but
Right, what happens is these funds that share across laterally, historically, they weren't exactly processed throughout the years, is what we're finding. So we're, at the end of the 2 or the 3 audits, there'll be a sorting out of all those funds, and then they'll get a clean set. And it should go back to normal, should look more normal.
Okay.
There's other little errors in there that creates, and we're gonna get all that cleared up for you.
okay, that's it then, thank you.
Any other commissioner? No, I just had one question. We're on target for the audit?
Well, I'm a little disappointed because I had a personal goal that we're a day off. I wanted to have it totally sealed today. We got 38 or 39 rather significant requests Friday at about 5:15. Sharon knocked out 36 of them, I believe. And our friend here to my left has the remaining 2, and he knocked out 1, and I'm pretty sure he's got that other one done today or tomorrow. So we're on it.
Thank you very much.
I did shed a tear.
One last question, if I may. Since we've expended all of our reserves, basically most of our reserves with the hurricane cleanup, we're going to be approaching that time when our bank account reaches a low, and I'm wondering if you're doing any projections to see if we will be required to do some kind of stopgap measure until we get the FEMA funds or until the next ad valorem come in.
Yeah, I usually do a monthly cash burn, call it check with all my accounts. The last one I did last month, and you were okay for the next 3 months, so I always look a little bit ahead. We balance the accounts, like we said before, we always try to keep everything at an interest-bearing or insured level. I'll know probably tomorrow or Friday if the next 3 months, it's like a rolling average kind of thing. See, I definitely will look at it.
If you could update.
Yeah, absolutely, I'll shoot it to Christian.
And with that, when you have your manager's report, if you could also address the reimbursement from FEMA, where we are with that. So
Absolutely.
Because I know we've talked about both of these issues. Thank you. Thank you very much. Police update. Chief Walsh. You're going to have to look at that
We are currently up to full staffing for our full-time officers. These two officers were definitely a godsend to us. First one that we have is Officer Lazaro Cruz. He's got 6 years' experience, most recently at Palatka. He was a SWAT operator, SWAT field operator there. So we're definitely very happy to have him here.
Welcome.
And to my right is Omar Grass. He has 29 years' experience from the city of Miami. He retired out of there as a corporal, and I cannot even begin to stress the amount of experience and knowledge that comes with this man. So definitely.
Thank
One of the major things, is it full-time or part-time? Yeah, they satisfied the rest of the equipment. Pretty much every one of the commissioners, the manager, and I have spoken that some issues that have come up or that are being questioned is traffic. So this information is going to be very heavy-handed in traffic. We're getting to almost a mid-year, at which point we're going to start doing UCRs again, so I didn't want to be redundant, go through first quarter and then in 2 months down, see where we're at again. So I just want to first take you through a highlight, and this is one of my old slides. This is where we were at the comparison of 2016 versus 2017. The left you're going to notice is going to be the 2016s, on the right is the 2017 for traffic stops, but primarily on the right side for tickets. As everybody well knows, we've had a 5-year trend going downwards in tickets from 2013, culminating in 2016 being a low of 585. We rebounded in 2017, right, almost triple that with 1480. So that was just in the 1 year of trying to get everything reestablished. So knowing that as a benchmark is where we start to go forward. This is a comparison for tickets from January 1st, 2017, and January 1st through April 30th, 2018. Like I said, last year we were off the charts in production. This shows you that we are ahead of where we were last year by almost double, or more than double, excuse me. So we continue to trend upwards. This is just a little bit of a breakdown for it. Non-moving violations, we have 162, which that can be anything from headlights, taillights, seat belts, anything basically that is a non-moving infraction. Moving violations, 228, those are going to be your stop signs, your right turn only, where you went straight or went left. Taken out of that is speeding violations. We had an additional 61. Those would categorize in moving violations, so those should be 289. But I know that speeding is definitely an issue that the commission likes to see how we're doing with that, so that's why that's isolated. Criminal violations is going to be your driving while license suspended, your low valid driver's license, habitual, anything like that. And this is our comparison between January 1st through April 30th, 2017, through January 1st, April 30th, 2018. Again, we continue to trend upwards. So proof is in the numbers. We are definitely out there enforcing, and we are cutting things down, as you're going to see, in accidents coming up. This is going to be traffic crashes from January 1st through April 30th, 2017 on your left, and on the right is January 1st through April 30th, 2018. The blue indicates Northeast 6th Avenue and Griffin crashes. The gray is going to be all the other streets in Biscayne Park. In 2017, during this time period, we had 11 crashes, 8 of which on Northeast 6th and Griffin, 3 on every other street in the park. This year, for the same time period, we've had 8 crashes, 7 on Northeast 6th Avenue and River Boulevard, 1 in the rest of the park. I said it was going to be a very short presentation. I wanted to cover a lot of the things that have been brought up as far as traffic related through the commission. My final thoughts, you're going to notice, are very similar to any time that I present. Most importantly, lock your doors. Lock your doors. I cannot stress to you the importance of that. Our single biggest crime that we report on UCRs is vehicle burglaries, which is categorized under larcenies, which it doesn't matter if your car is open and nothing was taken, it still counts into the UCRs. Everybody lock their doors. That would seriously damage. If you choose not to lock the doors, I understand that, that's your right. Please at least take the keys to your vehicle inside the house. The majority, I believe only one of them from last year, was taken without the keys. All the car doors were open, the keys left inside of it. If you choose not to lock your doors, not to take the keys inside, be so kind as to at least remove your firearms from the vehicles. I understand that, these 2 other ones are property crimes, but a firearm out on the street is a dangerous item. Please be responsible with that. Don't park on the medians. That's a fairly obvious one. If you do see somebody on the medians, don't be afraid to call us, let us know about it. We have our orange stickers, we have our tickets, we will act accordingly. We cannot be everywhere at once, so please, we do not have any problem with you guys being our eyes and ears as well. Summertime vigilance, we're getting to that time of the year again. You base it on any type of criminological theory of why crime rises during the summer, but it is a fact that it does. Be aware of that, be aware that there are going to be a lot more people out on the streets, be it not in school, free time. Just be aware that the dynamic will change during the summertime period. So again, we are here, call us at 911, let them decide whether or not it's an emergency. Tell them what it is that you're seeing. And 911 is always going to be your best bet. Not Village Hall, the 899-8000 number, not the police number. If you're trying to get the police immediately, call 911. And lastly, we're continuing improvement in hiring. And we definitely fill, the 11 spots that we have. But with our 13 reserve officers, that's who we take from when, someone leaves us for one reason or another. Continuing that, every time that those officers come in, those are hours donated, free to the village for them to work. I've said it before, our detective bureau is solely made up of reserve officers. Those are valuable hours that they're volunteering to us that otherwise would have to be paid out. So as long as, somebody is ready to work for us, we're happy to have them, and we're continuing that by going to the colleges, sponsoring officers if they choose to attend the academy. They incur the cost. We just provide, the background investigation, sending them there, and then we have first dibs on them when they come out of the academies. And really, it's just as we continue to build our name, our reputation back to what it should be, the word gets out. People want to come work for Biscayne Park. And that's really all I have. Are there any questions?
Any questions? None? Go ahead, Commissioner Ross.
Yes, I think we spoke about it. When you do your reports, if we could somehow have a summary of the reserve hours that are donated. I think that that's good information for people to know how many extra officers we have out on the street.
Anybody else? Commissioner Bell.
Is there a maximum number of reserve officers that we're looking at, or as long as we get good officers, we don't mind?
There's not a maximum number to look at, but what you always need to be cognizant of is you need cars, obviously, not radios. Now, we do our best, Corporal Rigo and Corporal Martinez do a great job of scheduling everybody, making sure that equal staffing across the board, and we don't have a day where 20 people show up, and then the next day we're down to 2. But in the same respect, when you have events like Halloween, the Easter egg hunt, the Christmas parade, when it is a full enforcement activity is when you really start to notice that pressure. We've bounced back and forth. I want to say the high time that I've been here has been right around 15 or 16. But as long as we are able to adequately space them out, I don't see a problem going on that.
I just want to thank you for all your work. I know sometimes not everybody knows what's going on behind the scenes and you're very quiet. But I just want to say I appreciate everything that you've been doing. I know where you were when you started and where you are now. So I just want to personally thank you for all your work. The only question I had is on the I think it was 289, I don't recall the exact number for the violations. Are the ones that you talked about speeding, could many of those be running stop signs?
The moving violations?
Yeah.
Because the speeding violations are completely taken out.
Okay.
So the other moving violations, it's severely lowered, predominantly because we only have one red light. The rest are probably going to be your stop signs, or anybody who's been on 121st Street knows that a lot of people go straight. Exactly. Those are going to be your two other big ones.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Is there any items need to be pulled?
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I just want to make sure there's no motion, because I do have one correction I do see can be made, that on the, on the 9A, I just want to see if we can, I'm happy to adopt it, but I want to make sure that they add for 10E, Brian McNulty and Dale Blanton's names were left out. And I think that's all I noticed, and also make sure our websites are updated with the correct, and I know this week we have a clerk, and I know we've had some issues with the agenda. I just want to make sure both the website as well as the calendar are both updated with the correct information. If there's no objection, is there a motion to approve the consent with those modifications?
With that modification, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're on to Resolution 11A. Village Attorney.
This is, I think we're good. All right, this is resolution number 2018-12, a resolution of the Village Commission of the Village of Biscayne Park, Florida, establishing a solid waste assessment fee for the Village of Biscayne Park, Florida, for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2018, providing for severability, providing for inclusion, and providing for an effective date. This is a request to pass and adopt.
Manager Manners. We turn off our mics and I know. And my face.
Feedback.
Come from somewhere.
Okay, this is our sanitation budget for 2018-19. As we know, all garbage, trash, and recycling costs to the village are paid through the solid waste management fee assessment paid by each property in addition to the ad valorem taxes. And this year, Waste Pro has provided us a written consumer price increase adjustment. It's per the contract, and the CPI has increased just a little bit. Additionally, we put in two different scenarios. There are usages of our police department and costs to our police department that are involved in sanitation, and we did want to look at moving a portion of the salaries from police to the sanitation budget as well. So we put in two different scenarios for that, for the consideration of the commission. And I will let Paul take over from here.
Thank you. The first page that I'd like to direct the commission to is the one I handed out to you, and if our clerk could put the wrong spot to do this today.
Yeah.
Really long arms, I can help. Can you pull up my
That's fine.
slide?
Fine.
Do you want to mic? Should I help them?
I could sit here. Mind doing so. I can see better from there. This one up. That's the one I want. See how you shove it. Yeah, I can see that. So the audience can follow along. We'll put the first chart up there. But for the commission, the handout I gave you, this one is the front page. Yeah, I don't know how to cast it on here. It's showing up on our laptop. It's on.
It's on.
I just,
This one here, right?
see behind there, that's the casting software.
Just give us a second, guys, sorry. One, this is important, I realize, so. Oh, Harvey,
Yes.
get over here.
Best thing probably do is just to reboot this. There you go.
No, this is the police.
Yeah, but at least we've got something up there. It
Okay,
means-
there, yeah.
Oh, I
Go ahead,
see.
Harvey, take over. Got it? Is it in my thing? Go ahead.
Does he have like a slideshow you show?
Yes, that's all it is.
Put the
When
expert
it
on.
closes.
Please be patient with us, we're sorry.